Well, I hope if you've watched other videos, you've already gotten the sense that my interest is in providing good, solid information. Things that are factual, things that are true. Maybe we can conjecture here and there, but to be clear that it's conjecture if we are conjecturing. Um, and I want to help people. So I share information so that you might be able to use it in your life. And today I'm going to talk to you about some information I just came across. Um, it's a few videos. I was watching one video by uh, with Dr. Diane Kaiser or Kaiser. I'm not quite sure. I think it might be Kaiser. Um, and it led me to another video because people raise issues. I watch a lot of videos, and some of them, most of what's in them, aren't interesting to or not worth passing on. Often, I'll watch a video that I think is rather inflammatory in some ways, and therefore, uh, it depending on your worldview. If I said, "Hey, go watch this video," you might go, "Oh, I don't like what they're saying. I'm not going to listen to them." But in the midst of what they're talking about, they provide information that is important for you to know. So I look at a lot of different stuff. And in watching this particular video, I came across another video and that I thought had potentially better information, and I wanted to go research them myself, and I did. So I'm going to share this with you, particularly the second video. But the first video was with Diane Kaiser, and the big idea on TV that I'm seeing on advertisement all the time. I don't watch so much uh, TV, as in the legacy TV channels. I sort of I don't enjoy watching them. So and I don't like what they say a lot of times because they're often trying to tell me something I am quite sure is not true. But uh, so I watch videos, a lot of videos, and even when you're watching video, I'm on the TV. I'm watching videos, and pop advertisements are popping up every so many seconds. You have no control over that, right? So I certainly see plenty of Ozempic advertisements right now, and with hey, you can take Ozempic, you can lose weight, no problem, everything's cool, and you might have talked to your doctor about, hey, you'd like to have some Ozempic. Well, I was intrigued when I came across a couple of these discussions that include serious concerns that the drug and how about the drug and how our healthcare system uh, is pushing it, as well as other pharmaceuticals and the expense promoting uh, health at the expense of promoting healthy nutritional paths. So again, I'll present that below. You can go and look at the video. So in this presentation, I'm just going to try to hit on some of the evidences that provided in these discussions and invite you to watch the video. So the first one was with Diane Kaiser. The things that I was really intrigued about with her is that she talked about what you may not know you're getting into when you enter into the healthcare system. And you go to the emergency room. You need to have a procedure, so you go to the hospital. And it was interesting. She talked about how you may fill out a form about biogenics, not biogenetics, biogenics. And if you fill out that form and say, yeah, biogenics is fine with me, well, what you're doing is you're giving them permission to give you vaccines, among other things. And if you're not interested in getting a vaccine, because you're concerned about what might be in these vaccines, in these newer vaccines, if it's a 20-year-old vaccine, you may not be concerned, but I know a lot of people are concerned about what's going on in these newer vaccines because they're not actually vaccines. They've redefined in the past couple of years since the healthcare emergency that we had. They redefined what a vaccine is. So a vaccine is no longer simply, hey, this serum that has a little bit of the actual flu or virus or whatever it is that they're trying to protect you from. That's not what it is anymore. So if you don't want that, you need to be careful about signing up for biogenics. Another thing she talked about were peptides and how peptides, which they play a significant role in the human body and repairing it, etc. In fact, one peptide that I think we're all pretty familiar with is insulin, and insulin, as you know, helps to move the sugars from your blood into your cells, etc. So it regulates that. So, and we have all kind of peptides. Some are natural, and of course, once again, the pharmaceutical industry is trying to come up with other kind of synthetic peptides or other pharmaceuticals to replace the natural peptides that might be good for you to try to increase in your body or whatnot. So now the second video is one, it's about how Big Pharma keeps you sick. And it covers things like seed oil. It is a broad discussion. These guys are really sharp. You must listen to them. They cover things like seed oils and lies about the food pyramid. They talk about vaccines for newborns, which is pretty concerning. They speak about Ozempic, and they talk about the birth control pill. So those are some of the things in this broad-ranging conversation that they have that you will get into. The discussion really reveals scientific hubris in our research institutions. The new idea seems to be more important than long-term results or effects. So, you come up with a new kind of medication of some kind, or, new formula for something. And I understand that. I get where, hey, I'm a scientist and I'm looking, I'm trying to find something new, or I'm trying to find something that helps people. And certainly if I've come across a new idea, hey, I want everybody to know about it. This is great. But sometimes these things get pushed, especially whenever a business can figure out how they can make money off of that idea. And so that all of a sudden you get this new idea getting pushed at you, and it doesn't have enough research behind it, or there's equally as good other methods that would be natural instead of doing this pill kind of thing that we've gotten ourselves. Well, now today we take a pill, we take a shot, we want to be done with it, and instead of letting our body do what it naturally would do if we take care of it. So in this video, Dr. Callie Means states that 95% of our serotonin, which is the happiness hormone, is made from our gut. And so having a healthy gut is essential. The problem with, and they're responding to Ozempic and other pharmaceuticals, but Ozempic shuts down your gut. So if it's not working, the hormones that it naturally would make are not getting made either. And so people can get depressed, etc. because of this. They brought out that an EU study was finding an increase in suicides, and so they've trying to figure out what's the connect. Is that connected in some way? There's a 68-week study by the American Academy of Pediatrics, which promotes Ozempic, and it promotes Ozempic as the first line of defense for teens and kids. So when dealing with obesity, which is what Ozempic's for in most people. So and the question is, do you need to be taking something like this when you're a teenager? Or right now, the current standard of care suggests that 6-year-olds need to take drugs before looking at dietary intervention. So you don't tell your 6-year-old, hey, stop eating sugar. You don't tell them don't eat that white bread or don't drink that soda. Instead, you just say keep consuming, and you know, we'll give you a pill, and you can stay on this pill for the rest of your life. So one of the things they pointed out that was interesting to me is that they were just pointing out the history of things, and of course, I'm interested in the history of things at all times. So the food industry was created by the cigarette industry, what we know as the food industry today. So they used their cash piles that they had made from food companies, and they shifted the lobbying and research for addicting cigarettes to food. And of course, what have we got? You keep hearing people talk about how things in our food are addictive. And so, you know, when you've got scientists that do that kind of research, then because they want you to smoke that cigarette, now they want you to eat that piece of bread or whatnot, right? Other things they talked about, let's see, pointed out that the pharmaceutical lobby is the largest lobby in Washington, but you know, like double everything else. Oil is a very small one. I think food is second. Pharmaceutical is next. Well, so let's see. Now Casey means there's Callie Means, who is the doctor, and Casey Means is her brother, and he has his own expertise. And he pointed out that our society, we are brewing a metabolic dysfunction that is not addressed until our bodies hit a critical point when pharmaceuticals are applied to the protein, to the problem. I'm sorry. I thought I had a different pair of glasses. Here they are. Here we are. So, we're brewing metabolic dysfunction that is not addressed until our bodies hit a critical point when pharmaceuticals are applied to the problem. And a second comment he says is that his sister said, Dr. Means said, if a fish tank is dirty, you clean the tank. You don't drug the fish. And so this is their metaphor for what's going on. We instead of cleaning out the poor nutrition that we're cramming into our bodies because we're addicted to sugar and etc. Instead of doing that, we're taking drugs. We're drugging the fish instead of cleaning the tank, and we're force feeding our children toxic food. Whereas in Japan, the childhood obesity rate is 6%. In the USA, the childhood and teenage obesity rate is 50%. That's mind-boggling, isn't it? We are over 40% more obese than Japan. In the USA, doctors are prescribing Ozempic for 6-year-olds, which puts them on medications for life, and the taxpayers will pay for that if they're on Medicaid. And unfortunately, a lot of our diets for people who are poorer is just this high calorie, high carbohydrate diet with not much nutrition, not much good nutrition in it. So they talk extensively about how this might be changed, how we need to reroute the way, what we're giving our money to, which industries we're subsidizing, because we're subsidizing industries that actually promote this problem. So they talk a lot about that. Dr. Means claimed that if you eat only protein, you can't overeat. Satiation drugs are unnecessary since whole, real, unprocessed, nutrition-rich food is sufficient. Now, that was interesting. If you're eating just protein, you can't overeat. Your body metabolizes that protein. And of course, the protein actually satiates you. Your appetite Whereas sugar, if you're eating sugar, you get your body metabolism, things go up and then you go back down. With protein, it sticks with your body longer, so you become satiated. You are not hungry anymore. Said that food industry pays 11 times more for foundational nutritional research than the NIH to university research. So for the research that's going, our schools and other research institutions that are doing research, the food industry pays 11 times more money than the National Institute of Health pays. Now, the other side of that is the National Institute of Health. The question is what are their policies too? So it could be that regardless, if the food industry is running the National Institutes of Health by donating, or who the guy's the director or the assistant director, and he's just coming in and out of the food industry and making his $1 million at some point from the private sector, then it could be that everything's basically food industry oriented. I don't know. That's just the conjecture right there. And on top of that, 80% of National Institute of Health grants have a conflict of interest. So they're not just, it's not like they're blindly giving something, giving their funds to projects. They actually are giving their funds to projects who they should not be giving their funds to because they have some conflict of interest. So anyway, these are, yeah, another one I just remembered is that Norway is the country where Ozempic is actually made. The company that makes Ozempic is out of Norway, and its standard of care in Norway is to place the patient on a keto diet before considering prescribing Ozempic or any drug. How you like that? So here in the United States, that's a point that they made, is that like in Europe and other countries, these things aren't being pushed the way they are in the United States. Here, it's like the first thing we do is we take a drug. In other countries, they know that drugs aren't really good for you, and they're just not pushing those drugs. There are other ways of getting healthy, and you really don't need the drug until you're in an extreme situation, which, of course, is what we do. As I mentioned before, we get down to the like you go see your doctor and they do a blood test and they look at how much sugar is in your blood, glucose is in your blood, and they don't tell you that you've got a problem with glucose or diabetes or anything until it reaches a certain point. At that point, they give you a drug. But the truth of the matter is, you were having a problem with glucose, and insulin resistance is actually what the issue is. You've been having a problem with insulin resistance for years. And they're just now, because their protocol is that, okay, when you get to a certain point, then you go on a drug. So this is the way things work in our medical system. And anyway, I'm not an expert on this, but I see red flags. And that's what I want to do, is share the red flags, because I want you to be a healthy person. I think, God made us to basically be healthy. And if we put stuff in that makes us healthy, then we're going to be better off. Obviously, we need to exercise too, but eating a good diet is really important, and knowing about how, not only whether the pharmaceuticals we're taking is healthy or not, but hey, what about the money we're just wasting as a society on something that really increases, you just have more and more and more unhealthy people. Once you get obese, then you have all kind of problems. They see, if you are obese, you're more likely to have heart problems and yada yada yada. Well, yeah, it's not because any people with a heart problem also have insulin problems. That's not what it is. It's you're obese, period. Anyway, please take a look at that video that I've put below, and if you got thoughts about this, let me know. Please like the video. Please subscribe. And you get to hear me share these meanderings from time as often as I come across something. I've been coming across a good bit of stuff here in the last few days, but I don't know that I'll be doing one a day like I've been doing the last few days. But whenever I do one, if you subscribe, then ping, you get to know about it, and you get to hear. It's really not so important that you hear my voice or look at my face. What's important is that you're educating yourself about some of the things that I share, because as I've said before, history matters, and having integrity matters, and I want to reveal where there's a lack of integrity and where history has taught us lessons. So I'll do that for you. For now, have a good day.